All right, let's final try. We gotta get this interview. Everybody's like, we want the interview, we want the interview. So this is gonna be the final try. If it's not, then hey, it's gonna have to be another day. I'm gonna have to call my I'm gonna have to do it from home. Um, and like I said, I just have some guests at home, and I don't like to talk about this when I have guests at home. Can you guys hear me now? Is it coming out better? Is it coming out clear now? I had to like drive away from the hole where I live at, so you guys, the things that we do to bring the information out there. All right, here he is. Let me go ahead and add him. So the things that we have to do to try to get that information out there. Okay, now it's clear. Okay, good. Now let's see if he comes in. Saying now it's loud and clear. Okay, so good. Okay, Tata, you're there. Can you hear me?
Sí, sí, I am here.
Okay,
Finally.
finally. So I guess los brujos, the brujos were like doing, oh no, Tata Butako's online. Let's do
Yeah,
brujeria
yeah,
so he
it's
doesn't come
like
out.
get rid of him.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
Tata Butako was doing a cleansing to the phones, and he's like, no, we gotta get this interview out there.
Remember, remember, I just coming from the world of the dead. They killed me once, so
Yeah,
they say it was not enough. So now we gotta try stronger.
yeah. Okay, so do you want to start over, or do you want to pick up, or we stopped?
Let's start all over again because the other one, was cut off. We couldn't hear each other, and I believe, people are waiting. They deserve the best, so let's give them the best like we could do.
Okay, so as everybody knows, I have Tata Butako, which is he has a lot of videos on YouTube, a lot of knowledge on what is called what I call. I mean, he might call it something different. What I call is traditional palo, or what he calls, I guess, is malongo. Um, so we're gonna be answering some of those questions that you guys have, and this is for English speakers. I know you've been waiting a long time for this, and I do apologize. I had a very rough month this month. Had a wedding, I got married and stuff. So, but now
Yes,
I'm
I
free.
know. Yes, I know. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. So now I'm free and stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and do this video. So Tata, earlier you were talking about yourself, and I asked you about if you can tell us something like very quick detail, your background. What is it that you practice, or where did you begin your practice?
Well, let me go first to say hi, and express my gratitude to you, to your followers, also to my follower. God bless you all, and thank you for this opportunity to be able to get into your heart. Okay, so answering the questions uh, that Carlos is asking me, my life has been always surrounded with magic. So I was scratched in Mayombe at a very early stage when I was on my mother's belly. She was a victim of witchcraft and all that. They scratched me, so they saved my life. The guy Freddy, the one who scratched me, was a Cuban Tata. He initiated me in Mayombe. Later on, he made me a Tata. Um, he died, so I couldn't continue with him. So 20 years, 15 years, 20 years later, I was introduced to Brijumba, uh, to the branch of Palo of the Guindabela. Later on, by maybe a miracle, or maybe, I don't know, something brought me to this priest that he was a practitioner of Malongo. And that little accident, that little encounter that I got with him changed my life forever. And I became a practitioner of Malongo.
Hmm. Okay. Now, was this priest, was he African or was he Hispanic?
No, he was Hispanic. He got his family. He got grand great father was African, so they it was from their line.
Okay, so he was pure tradition. Okay. Um, So that's like a whole story that I can't wait to hear later on. Tata Butako started in Mayombe, and then into Biriyumba, and then finally realized the true essence or the true meaning of Palo or Malongo. And now you're over there trying to give this information out there, and you're giving free information to people. And that's one of the things why I'm very grateful to you, because you give information. Some other people want to charge you just for a few minutes of your time. I'm not saying you, the other people that I want to interview, and I ask for interviews, like, yeah, I'll give you an interview, but I'm
No,
gonna
no,
charge
no,
you
no.
$20 an hour. you know
No. How much?
$20 an hour
Oh my
for an
God.
interview. And I'm like, well,
No,
this
no,
is
no.
to help people and bring people into the tradition you know so uh the reason why I also want to bring this up, because I also have questions, because like I told you, a few years ago, I was like, everything changed. It changed from Salam Aleikum to Sala Malongo. And I'm like, what is this Malongo? This is Malongo, that Malongo. What in the world is Malongo? Why is everybody now saying Malongo? And then it's like Tata Butako had started this big hype, but then you asked other priests, even in my house, what is Malongo? And they were like, they couldn't give me a straight answer. So I went into the person who actually knows about this. And a lot of people claim to be Malongos, but as you said in your Spanish video, sometimes that's a lie, because people claim to have titles that they really don't.
Yes, well, they are Malongo wannabe. That's a difference. You
Okay.
know, it's something to explain to the people. I call it the folkloristic Pharisees, because these folkloristic practitioners back on the middle of the 18th century and then on the 19th century, they created their own version, the Creole Cuban version of Palo.
Okay.
So what they did was they syncretized and cross Palo that they call the regional Malongo. And that's where people get all confused. What I practice is not regional Malongo. What I practice is Malongo, what came first to Cuba on the 15th century up to the 17th century. What they are saying that they're practicing is from the middle of the 18th century through the 19th century. That's the regional Malongo.
So what we know right now as Palo or Palo Mayombe, Briumba, Kimbisa, can you say that's like a new age, and that's like a mixture of Christianity and a mixture of probably Taino, or the islanders in Cuba, what we know as Croyo. So it's truly not African. So in reality, in Africa, Mamacholas does not exist, Siete Rayos does not exist, or Lucero does not exist.
No, it doesn't exist. What is exists over there is the Nkisi in singular, or Nkishi, or in plural, the Minkisi, but they are not the Creole, Cuban, and Pungos. That does not exist in Africa. And that's where the whole problem starts. In Malongo, in real Malongo, the Pungo does not exist.
Okay.
Siete Rayos, Arabanda, those don't exist in there, in
Okay.
Malongo.
But now, can you consider that as a separate practice, though? Um, like the people that do practice that, is it? I mean, I guess it's okay, but it's a separate practice, or it's not the pure instance of African tradition. It's a
Well,
mixture. It's watered down, basically.
for me, it's not okay. Remember, I used to be a cross palo practitioner. I used
Okay.
to practice that, but I left that because when I start investigating, study more, go back to history in Cuba, then I realized that the first thing that came in Cuba on the 15th century, it was Malongo. Then right after, it was Palomonte who came off from Malongo, and it got his golden age on the 16th century until 17th century. And then by the middle of the end of the 17th century to the middle of the 18th and 19th century, that's where we have this new movement that is just simple a, a mixture of different creeds, because some of they say, oh, the Congo were not anymore in Cuba about that age, about
Hmm.
that time. It was the Creole. Those Congo was transformed into society when they mix with other races and they become the Creole.
The
So
Creole. Okay.
people see the
So
Creole. So
yeah.
people they don't understand that.
So in reality, in Africa, a prenda or a pot or a candembo does not exist.
Well, there we go again. No, not in that Creole Cuban concept.
Okay.
Over there, what exists is the Nkisi.
Could you give us a little bit of, I don't, we're not gonna talk about secrets, but could you give us a little bit of an explanation? Like for example, the picture in your profile there, that's
This is an
considered to
Nkisi.
be, that's an Inkisi. So it's not
This is
a
an
prenda,
Nkisi.
right? So that's what they
Well,
used
this is
in
no,
Africa.
no. This is the ancestor of the Nganga,
Okay.
of the prenda, of the magical cauldron. This is the ancestor.
Hmm.
But what people they don't understand what the Nkisi means. I don't know if you noticed, I did a video in Spanish that I was giving a little bit of explanation of what was the concept or the philosophy of an Nkisi in the African term, and I was doing that in Spanish. And what was an Nganga in the Cuban philosophy. Very shortly, a few minutes ago, I just load that video on my page about try to give the difference between the African concept and the Afro-Cuban concept, because it's not Cuban only, it's Afro-Cuban, so it's a mix of the two.
Well, it'll be nice if we could do that video in English, because a, a a lot of the English speakers don't understand, and then they get confused, and a lot of people take advantage of them. And that's the reason why we want to bring these videos here too, so we could give the English speakers that knowledge as well, because there's not many knowledge out there, and you have a lot of books that are written, but they're giving the wrong information. You have a lot of books that are written in English, but they're giving the Creole concept that has nothing to do with Malongo. Am I wrong? I'm saying that, or what's your
No, no, you are right on the spot. You are right on the spot. You are right. These books that they have in Botanicas, or they have it over the internet, they are more on the Creole Cuban concept. They
okay?
are not really connected, neither to Palo Monte nor to Malongo.
Okay.
So these books are more made of the really mess that they did back at the middle of the 18th century and 19th century. I'm not talking of a diaspora now in our days that everything has changed even worse.
Yeah, yeah. Now there's nowadays it's like there's an infusion where Palo is mixed with Wicca, or is mixed with Santeria, even Luciferian. Now on a personal practice, you have to do magic. For me, magic work. My personal thought. If you do magic and you guaranteeing something for somebody, you have to do what you have to do. But when you have to give an explanation and say, well, this is the instance of Malongo, it's like, well, Wicca has nothing to do with Malongo. um but now we're gonna get into the questions, okay? If you don't mind. um
No, no, it's okay. That's why
if,
we're here.
yeah, one of the major questions is, can a Babalao or any Ifa priest determine whether you can practice Palo, or let's say Malongo, or be initiated into la rama or la regla de Congo?
Well, we have go over this again and again. It's very simple. The Ifa priest, Babalao, or the Korea War in Africa, or chief. Um, they supposed to be doing their work on their listen very well, under IFA field only. So they are like a neutral agent who they can do readings to be partial on their judgment, but not to inflict justice and not to try to tell people what they have to do. If you go to a Babalao, if he's a serious Babalao, and he will read one of these signs from the Equile, he will go and he will tell you, well, this letter is saying that there is some issues with you in Palo. So I would advise you, listen very careful, I would advise you, that's what he's supposed to say, to visit, to pay a visit to a palero so you can address this issue with him and his enganga, and he will tell you what to do. But what is happening is that Babalaos today are not only telling them you have to be a scratch, now also you have to reach the Ganga Siete Rayo, you have to, they cannot do that.
Okay.
They don't have authority to do that.
So a babalao cannot basically scratch you.
No, that's even worse. Listen, there are some Babalaos that before they were Babalao, they were Palo practitioner. That's
Mm-hmm.
fine.
Mm-hmm.
But by the time they sworn in front of Orula, Ikafum, that's one of the signs that they're sworn to rely their life only on Ifa and Orumila. Listen very careful. Only to Ifa and Orumila. That means that everything else they got, Palo, is dead for them. They can use it for their personal purpose for themselves or for his family, but they cannot use it for anybody else. They cannot scratch anybody. They cannot start building up en ganga to nobody. What happened is that in our days, Babalao, they want to be the priest of every religion. They want to be
Yeah.
like the Pope. They want to tell everybody what to do. And you cannot do that. I'm sorry. You have to stay in your own position. Uh, and now Babalao, they have created new Ifa verses and Pataki or stories in which now they proclaim that they can make Nganga themselves. They need to study Odimeji, where Orula was married with Yemaya, and how Orula prohibited to his wife, Yemaya, to have an enganga while they were living together because he claimed it was an osobo. And he said, in my house, I cannot have that kind of osobo because that brings death. So
Okay.
how the hell Orula prohibited that in Odimeji, and now these people create new Orula signs saying that, yeah, you can build an enganga, you can do, they cannot do, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they use Osign as an excuse. Which we could get into another video into that detail. But they say, oh yeah, there's an odum here that babalao can scratch and stuff like that. So we want to bring you this knowledge that no, a babalao is not supposed to scratch you. A babalao does not determine your entuanda and sa. It's
The guy a Babalao who can, if a Babalao scratch you, he is scamming you. Period.
okay.
He is making a fool of you. He is ripping you off from your money because Babalao are not supposed to scratch anybody. Odimeji, Ikafun, and there are other signs that I could say, but that's for later. But just two, so you can keep it on your mind when a Babalao says that he can scratch you in Palo. That's a lie.
Yeah. What a lot of people don't understand is that Ifa was the last one to arrive to Cuba. Am I wrong or am I right?
That's right.
Okay, and once they arrived in Cuba, they made up some oduns. They made some signs to benefit themselves. They're in a new land, so stop. So a lot of these new oduns are invented by Balaos. It's not really a rule that they followed before, but that's another story.
They
Now,
made it and they are still doing it. They
yes,
every day they keep creating new patakis.
yeah.
The poor babalao of this day, they cannot really learn their ifa because they keep creating more story that there will not be any time for them to memorize anything.
Yeah, it's like their excuses. Oh, Ifa is the universe, but I don't want to touch too much into Ifa and go back and to Palo, because then with the video is gonna be
Malongo
long.
is the universe. Malongo is the universe.
Yeah.
Malongo has been in Ifa. Malongo has been in regular Ocha. Malongo has been in the Vikings religion. If we're gonna see, Malongo has been in every religion that is in this world.
Okay. Which is understanding. Now, can an Oriate, now listen very carefully to this answer. Now, can an Oriate scratch you?
Well, if the Oriate, if he is a Tata, that is another religion, but if he's a Tata, I don't see any reason why he cannot scratch you, because he's a Tata. He doesn't have that prohibition like the Babalao do have it.
Okay. So
Because
that
Oriate doesn't go to any Orisha to sworn, I'm gonna rely and my life gonna be unto you only, and anything else that I practiced before gonna go second place and you're gonna be no. Oriate don't do that.
okay.
Only Babalao do.
Okay. So that means a Santero has the rights to scratch you too. Okay.
A santero who is a palero.
Yeah.
If it is not a palero, he cannot scratch.
Okay. If it's not, okay. Now, now this is one of the questions that comes a lot, and we're gonna touch a little bit in this topic, okay? Because this is something that hurts a lot of people, but we're gonna get the truth out there. Now, Tata, what if the Santero is, let's say, homosexual, he's gay, but he's been scratched? Can he scratch you?
Wait a minute, wait.
It's a trick
No
question.
one.
It's a tricky
No, 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 no,
question.
no, 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 no. No one who is um homosexual can be a scratching palo.
Okay.
So what is happening today? The same thing. People, because of the money, I a lot of respect for the homosexual community. I do have a lot of respect. I got friends. They are great people. They are very great spiritualists. They are, but in Palo, they have no business in Palo.
And not even in the African tradition.
This is something people have to understand. Palo is is a Creole, Afro-Cuban concept.
Hmm.
The palo that is in Cuba does not exist in Africa.
Yeah.
In Africa, there is no palo. In Africa, what is ancestralism.
Okay.
And over there, they don't have gay people doing that either.
Okay.
But there is something that we need to make it to distinguish one from another, and is that in Africa is ancestralism along with Nkisi, but in Cuba is palo. I hear people say, "Oh, palo in Africa." Palo does not exist in Africa.
Okay.
It's ancestralism.
Okay. Um, which is something that is very touching. Now you're gonna have a book. You said, will that book be in English where you explain about homosexuality and this African practices?
Well, I'm gonna have a book, a bilingual book,
Okay.
in English and in Spanish.
Okay.
Um, I still working on it. I haven't finished because I want to give the very best that I can offer to my beloved people. So the book is not really because I want to make money. The book is because we have to put an end to all this wrong concept
Mm-hmm.
that people are so confused and they're practicing all crazy stuff. Yes, they're gonna be. I'm not sure because I'm gonna be dedicating most of the concept on Malongo and the
Mm-hmm.
muntu, the individual, and then how that displays in our reality. So I still have to work out if I'm gonna do it on this first book, that I'm gonna talk more specific about why homosexual cannot be a scratching paddle. We already explained that in Spanish. We give just some explanation, and if I don't do it on the first book, then I'll do it on the second book. But I still don't know. I have to see what is going to be the final result of the book.
Okay. Now, can we talk a little bit about the concept of la prenda? I'm not gonna say enganga because I know you corrected me in the Spanish video, and you know, which I should know better, that the Nganga is the title, is the person, it's the Tata Nganga, right?
No, 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 no. You're right. You're right. Nganga is the magical cauldron in the Afro-Cuban concept.
Mm-hmm.
Tata Nganga, I mean, an Nganga is a priest from the tradition, from the Congo practice.
Okay. So
Sometimes, yeah.
so we established that that was an invention that that came from Cuba. It wasn't really an African thing, that it did not exist in Africa, right? Like Siete Rayos or stuff like that. And I've heard stories that traditionally, even in Cuba, when the first pots were made, it didn't have a siete rayo. It had, like, for example, un Bada la Grande, for example, a name that I just came out. You know, it didn't have Lucero, blah 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 blah. It had a different name
Those were
than
paths. Those were paths. So according to the magical power of that Nganga is how it was named. So depending the nature of what that Nganga was going to be used for, that's how they name it. That was their path. But then on the 18th century, this foolish came out with this Yoruba Lukumi concept that now they put the Orisha and Kisi, that concept of combine it, and now they put the Mpungo like there is their path. That is not a path. The Mpungo is not a path, but they're giving people, oh, this is your path, Siete Rayo. This is that's foolish.
okay. So can we talk a little bit about the ceremony without giving any secrets about the Enkimba? Okay, the steps. Okay, that's something that people ask about. What are the steps? For example, I'm new into the practice, right? Let's talk about your house, okay? I
Well,
don't, let's keep
well,
a little bit of credit.
that's what I was about to ask you about
Yeah.
the question. If you're gonna ask me about the Nkimba in Palo Monte, or you're gonna be asking me the Nkimba in Malongo.
No, the Enkima Malongo. So if, let's say, I want to be initiated, or I want to join and practice what you do, what is the steps that I have to do? What are the steps?
One of the first is, well, depending, we got two situations. One who is a non-initiate, and another one who was initiated into another of the Palo houses. So we
Okay.
got two different ways how we have to take care of these two different cases. For
Okay.
example, if you're a new initiate, well, basically, you're going to go through an investigation for the Yaya, the Ndumba, the female priest, who going to investigate you by using the leaves of the trees, and she going to throw it, and she going to start while getting your addo. Addo is your incarnated path of your soul, your path as being as incarnated soul, because we need to know who you are, where you're coming from, what's wrong with you, because we cannot pass you right away to the spiritual world if we don't know who are, what are the things, what are the packages that you're coming from the world beyond up to the physical plane. So we need to know into this long reading. Is a long process. She needs the yaya to check you out, and then after the findings, then we will know what we need to know to get you to the next step. Because there are people who, when they get a scratch, they're not necessarily need to be a scratch in the Afro-Cuban way. Sometimes, what I mean with the Afro-Cuban way, well, you being a scratch by making the eki, menga, the path, the bloody path with the
Yeah.
spirit that live in the Nganga.
Yeah.
But this is important to understand. When you in the Afro-Cuban, you make the pact not with the Mpungo. The Mpungo is just a genetic name to cover the path of that Nganga.
Mm-hmm.
The real agent in the Nganga is the Mfumbe, the spirit of the dead. So you were the one you're making the path is with the spirit of the dead. But there is a second a scratching. That's a first Afro-Cuban scratching ceremony. That's the one that most of the people knows. But if in Addo, it comes out that you're gonna be having some spiritual needs from your karma, then you cannot be a scratch in the Afro-Cuban way. Then you have to be scratch by some of the spirit of your ancestral lineage, and that have nothing to do with an enganga. And I
Wow.
know, and I know, and I know what I'm talking today is a first.
Mm.
I one time I write it down on my page, but I'm not sure if they understood when I say it. But this is a different a scratching ceremony, but they are for a special cases.
Okay.
The
So
other one is for the
so
normal people that gonna be in Afro-Cuban practice.
okay.
The one that you know.
So now, like me, I was a scratch in Criollo. So now I want to join your tradition. What is the process?
Then that would be the third case. The third case would be people who are already initiated into one of the Palo houses. Then we need to get, to be fair, with your addo. But since you were initiated into an enganga, then we need to get your tenduenza.
Okay.
Because when you were scratched in whatever Palo house you were, they never give you a tenduenza because they
So
don't know how to give you that.
Tendenswa is your path, okay, but it's not your path. That means your
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 path.
siete rayos or your sarabanda. That's not your path.
That's what I was about to clear out because this day people are saying, "Oh, your past, your encila with S, encila with S is siete rayo, sarabanda, but encila with Z is your tenduenza." That's a
Okay.
difference. Just a simple letter change the whole concept.
Okay.
So if you're in cross palo or syncretized palo, what they're gonna try to put you in is in just one of these full avatar of the syncretized or cross palo. That means the empungo, siete rayos, zarabanda, whatever, and the the signature, the sigil that they're giving you is how that energy has been placed on the enganga, on the ground, or whatever they put it. That's not your energy when you incarnate into the physical world. How that is going to be your path. Your path have to be tenduensa because that's the chronological order, how your soul start navigating into the cosmos in order to make it into the physical plane. That's what people they don't understand.
Hmm.
So when we say the tenduensa, we means is the whole trajectory, the whole path that you have to go around. We call nuru. We call the magical circle of life in which you have to go through in order to break in and start incorporating your soul into a physical plan, into your astral body, in order to be a human being. All that information of all your trial is recorded into the tenduensa.
Okay. Can we say the Entuendo en Sa is also almost like a zodiac sign, but in the African tradition?
Yeah, something similar like an astrological birth chart of where your soul were, what path were you taken in order to get in the physical plane.
So for those tuning in, my concept of that is also, if you are into Western astrology, is your node, okay, node, your north or south node, whereas basically where you're incarnate, where your spirit has been, if you are into astrology, okay, um it's the nodes. But this is more into the African tradition, which is actually an older form of astrology called Sa.
It's very simple. I will try to compare to try to give this idea about a mirror. A mirror have one side that is reflecting the image of whatever gets in front of the mirror, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we got the other side, the dark side, that is only absorb the energy. So
Okay.
it's a double door dimensional. So the one that reflects the image is the physical world. That is just a copy of the real world. And what is the real world? That is the one on the back, on the dark. Q and Pemba.
Okay.
QNC. QNC is more about the physical world. QNC is the planet. QNSA is what is the house that give it a room to both to exist. QNSA is the universe.
Mm-hmm.
QNPemba is the land of the dead.
Wow.
QNC is the physical plane. And all those things are in the mirror. That's why you see that sometimes they put it in here. They put it in here. This one doesn't have it, but they put it here in the mojo, what they call the mojo, a little mirror that is acting as mirroring the physical from the spiritual. And the force, the Milongo, the medicine is right between. So who is going to be taking advantage of that power of the medicine that the Nganga priest created? It depends of the use and the knowledge or the right that they're going to use. That's why they put the mirror on it, because it's a dimensional door that can cross the world of the dead, the land of the dead, or the world of the living as well.
That's amazing. That's a good knowledge, which is basically now that I hear you talk more, it's like wow, this is just so different from Croyo.
The
Uh,
same you find it out in the Empaka. That's what they place the Empaka, the mirror. Inside, it got the magical ingredients, the Bilongo. So
yeah,
the
like the
Empaka in the old days, they used to be used like a horn that they would use it to call people from the old tribes. So it was like a microphone or a megaphone.
are you
So
talking about the?
it's
Are you talking about the Empaka Mensa?
yeah, yeah. The
Okay,
Empaka and Fumbe doesn't have mirror. The Empaka and
okay,
Fumbe doesn't have mirror. I'm talking about the Empaka Mensu, Bititi Mensu.
okay. PDT Mensa. Okay,
Bititi plant, Bititi plant. And Mensu is the eye, the vision where you can see through the plant. Is the same concept of the Nkisi. The Nkisi gonna have their magical ingredients and gonna have the mirror, and through that dimensional door, you're gonna make an effect that magic can be used in both worlds.
okay, I get you. So Tata, let's say, because I know this is very confusing to a lot of people. This is like, when I first heard this, I'm like, wow, this is like nothing to do with what I practice, and I fell in love with this concept. Um, so let's say you come, a new practitioner comes to you that has nothing to do with Croyo, has nothing to do with nothing, and they want to practice. Are there different stages like in Croyo where they become a Pino Nuevo or an Engeo in what you practice?
Well, in what I practice is very different. But the concept is that once you get a scratch, we mentioned in the Spanish video that when you first get a scratch as engayo, many people think that you become an engayo. Literally, that's what it means. But actually, what it means, an engayo is an spirit that the Tata created for you. He will insert it into your skin, and that spirit will live with you. When you get your Palo name, It's not your name. It's the name of that spirit that live in underneath your skin. When that person become a tata and get his sigil or his magical symbol, it's gonna be not your firma, it's gonna be his firma.
Yeah, understood that.
And then when you get a scratch in Palo, you become an engayo for a year and 21 days. After that, then you go to the process of become a new pine tree because you become an engando, pino nuevo. That's what they
Mm-hmm.
call pino nuevo, new pine tree. Then if you are meant to be in this religion, you're going to start going ahead on knowledge and practice and you become a guatoko. So it's a long process. It's not what is happening today that you get engaged and then they get you a reading and then you're going to become your encila is going to be acetate and you're going to be an enganga. They cut off the whole process of the kimba.
Yeah. Um.
That's wrong.
Yeah. I know a lot of spiritual houses. But it depends. Like I said, it depends on your practice. And the tradition near you, and a lot of people would just scratch you straight to Tata and straight to Jaya.
That's
And I
even
also know.
worse.
Yeah, and I know that
That doesn't
concept. It's like,
exist.
how can you be a
That
mother
doesn't
or a
exist.
father if you don't have no sons? I know that
If
concept.
you, that's even worse. That's even worse. How you gonna be a scratch directly as a tata or a yaya when they never give you the opportunity for you to be born in the enganga as an engayo. So you're gonna be already an adult, but you never were born as a baby. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But you know why
Okay.
they do that? Because of money. Because they know if they make you tata, they gotta give you later on an enganga. It's more money, so they can get more money from you. They're gonna scam you.
Okay.
And people
Okay.
are so foolish that instead of investigate, read, look around, they just okay, let me do and that's it.
Okay. So now let's clarify this, okay? For if there's any misunderstanding. Now, in your practices, do you give out prendas or pots?
That's on the in Malongo, we go the first stage and we work with Ado. When we complement you with Ado, then we go to the second stage. That's where Malongo start taking place in Cuba.
Okay.
And then we give an enganga later on.
But it's not gonna
But
be like a
before
siete. It's not gonna be like a siete rayo, a centella, or a lucero, right?
Siete Rayo, Sarabanda, all those Creole, Cuban, and Pungo does not exist in Malongo.
Just to
That
clarify, I'm just
doesn't
trying to clarify here.
that doesn't that doesn't exist in Palomonte either. In Palomonte, what was what you described it before about the path, about the depending the power of that enganga. It was how it was named. That was
Okay.
Palomonte.
Okay.
But this name of Siete Rayo and Saramanga that came later on by the end of the 17th century through the 18th and the 19th when they start messing themselves off with the Yoruba Lukumi priest.
Okay.
Palomonte
Yeah.
have nothing to do with Mpungo. Malongo
Yeah.
have nothing to do with Mpungo.
Okay. Which is right about where I'm coming from. Um, it's just hard, and I think it was hard for during that time of slavery when the slaves weren't allowed to leave the slave house. So they brought everything that they needed from the monte, from the cemetery, from the rivers, and created, brought the river to their home. And I think maybe that's how the enganga or the pot was created, to have everything there, since they weren't allowed to leave the slave quarters at any time. Um, which probably was a good invention, but it took away the tradition.
I think that the no that was okay. That was a nice way how to solve their limitation because they were a slave. That was
Yeah.
good that they did that. That's we don't have
Mm.
any problem whatsoever with that. Problem was when I bring Wanza, the river, when I bring Kalunga, a little bit of that water of the sea, and then I start giving a personality as a Yoruba Lukumi deity, that's where we start having the problems.
Yeah, when you water it down and mix it. Um, okay. Well, it's just like I said, it's very confusing. Because we're used to more of the Croyo way, and then when we hear people talk about this, and then when we hear people talk about Malongo, they have no idea what Malongo is, and yet they still practice Croyo, and they want to mix Croyo into Malongo, So it's just
Yeah, that's what they're doing now. Yeah, that's what they want to do these days. But you see, they have been 300 years lost in the Cuba history.
yeah.
And we are talking all the way from the 17th, 16th, and 1500 century in Cuba. Most of those Cuban historians, nobody want to talk about it.
Well, Lydia Cabrera talks a little bit about it. I mean, not
She
into
did.
detail.
She did. But in a way, she did. But she touched very little. She touched a little bit of Malongo. She touched a little bit of Palo Monte, but then she jumped it up right away to the 18th and 19th century.
Yeah, and it's unfortunately that those books I try to find those books in English, and it doesn't exist. So that's why it's difficult for English speakers to look for that. I mean,
I
because
think
there's
they
a lot
did
of
it.
people.
I think they did it Monte in English now. I think they did it now.
Okay, I try to find it, but I couldn't find it. And that's why it's very important to bring this knowledge. Now, there's other authors out there, like your favorite author, Domingo Laje, um, who's now getting
The
his book,
General Black Sausaget. Say salute to him.
which
General Morcilla, saludo.
which a lot of his books are being translated into English, but you need to understand that that's the Croyo concept, um, which is not the true emphasis of Malongo, um, which I mean it's a double edged sword because in every tradition you have the traditional, and then you have the new age. You see that in Christianity too. You have the traditional Christianity, and then you have the new age Christianity. But me personally, as a practitioner, I want to go back and to practice the real deal, how people practiced it before, not like there's no watered down, but what works for you works for you. I don't condemn people that if that's what you love, that's what you love, because it's your faith. um but let's speak the truth. When you say, well, this Malongo belongs into Mayombe, or it belongs into Briumba, you're lying. you
You're
know
lying. That's right.
yeah, if you're gonna write a book, and in your book you start talking about Malongo, and that Malongo started in Cuba, you're lying.
That's
um
right.
so that's where we come with this interview, to give you that information. So when you decide that you want to join a tradition, for example, Palo, or you want to join Mayumbe, you want to join Briyumba, you need to understand that you're not practicing the true self, or the original tradition. It's more like a mixture or watered down. Um,
Carlos,
yeah,
Carlos, let me spare just a few minutes if you don't mind,
yeah,
so I
yeah. Go
can
ahead.
explain just an idea of Malongo to the people, because we keep talking about Malongo, Malongo, and the people say, "What the hell is that?" Okay, yeah, I'm gonna try to be very simple. I'm gonna have a book that is gonna go deep on that. So that's why I'm not gonna go so deep. But I'm gonna try to make it in a basic, simple way so people can understand. So every time they hear the word Malongo, they'll get it right away. Okay. Because people today that they're using Creole practice, now they try to take advantage, and because Malongo has become a household name, they want to be part of the game too, because they still want to rip off people's money by now telling people that they are Malongo practitioner, but they are not. But let me explain what is Malongo. Very simple. Um, I'm not gonna go literally because it will take long. What is the name? How we break the prefix Malongo. But I just gonna make that would be for the book. But I'm gonna go very simple. Malongo for some people means nature, and the question is, what kind of a nature we are talking about? Are we talking about the wood? Like that's what the Creole Cuban practitioner they interpreted in the old days, and that's what they call the regional Malongo. No, that's not Malongo. That's one of the line how the energy of the cosmos of the Ensa was directing his energy, his source of energy through those different plants, trees, etc. But we cannot be disguised by that. That's just a channel in which the energy came through. Malongo is the essence of nature. What nature? Of your nature, of the universe nature. It lives inside of us. We are part of the universe, and the universe is part of us. We are the missing link. So when we said that we have a magical sticks that I need to prepare to a godchildren, is because you are connecting to that source of energy that connect with your true nature that you are made of, and that is part of that tree also. So when we are talking about Malongo, we mean the nature, not the nature of the wood itself, but we're talking about the nature of the karma of the soul, whole, or the universe, the cosmos. That's what we mean with Malongo.
A universal conscience.
The different three stages of your conscious are part of Malongo as well.
Mm. So Malongo, in other words, is just the creation of everything.
And the creation is in Zambi, God
Okay.
itself.
Okay.
That's why we are called, in Africa, that's why a priest is called an Injanga.
In Janga, not in Nganga, in Janga.
Oh, they can call it an Nganga as well. But an Injanga is a specific field that this guy is a diviner that prepare herbs, do all kind of things like the Tata do in Cuba.
Okay.
That's a word they don't use it anymore. But in America, they never use it. But in Africa, they use it. Just, just check the Zulu people on their tribe or the Cuba people. But anyway, what I'm trying to say, Malongo is refer about creation, the creation of what? Of your own essence, the universe, yourself. We are the universe. We are the nature. The trees are just filters that the energy, the source of, and the different source of energy are divided. And depending of the one that you connect, that will be the one, your magical herb that will help you on the Milongo or the tree. So when we say Malongo, we mean the true essence of the soul that is placed in the universe. What is an Nganga? It's a mini representation of the cosmos and the physical world.
Okay. It's a mirror image of the universe.
That's right. That's what is Malongo. Well, that's why we say it's the nature, the
Yeah.
origin of creation.
Yeah. And it's funny that you say that because, for example, me, myself, you know, if I want to do something, like a spiritual work, I go to the woods, you know, and do it there. I don't necessarily go to the pot. I like more going to nature to do work, and I say, I need this, it's right here. I need dirt, it's right there. I need that, it's right here. And a lot of people nowadays, they don't even go to nature to do spiritual work. Like that is being lost, and they depend a lot more on the pot, which, okay, it's fine, but you know nature out there is more magical. I believe, everything's more alive. Do you go out into the woods and do stuff like that yourself?
I do.
Okay.
This is the thing. What you are describing is a practice that it was done on the 16th century in Palo
Hmm.
at the beginning of the 16th century. Then later on, Palomonte was moving on the 17th century, and that's where all this Enganga stuff start being getting more famous, and that's where all this Engangulero start taking place. But it was until late on the 19th century that then they call Engangulero, and they create themselves that everything they do is through the Enganga, not through the woods anymore. So what they have by supporting your claim, what they have in the Nganga is just a dead nature.
Yeah.
Because if you don't keep that Nganga alive and you don't keep it happy, you're gonna have problem with that Nganga, with
Yeah.
the wood that is in there. But when you go to the wood, the trees that are on the wood, they are free. They are not dominated by any spirit of the dead from Nganga because they got their own special spot in the wood. And you are the one who have to be careful how you walk to the wood because each tree have a spirit that dominate that spirit itself. And you are the one who have to do the proper right to really make the path properly to gain the power from that specific herb or tree.
Okay. Wow, you're sharing a lot of more deep secret stuff that we would have planned, but it's good. It's good that people understand, especially for those that are a little bit more advanced. Um, which is wonderful information for them.
We want
Um,
that the people learn. We don't. I am here because I am sick and tired of people scamming other people and the poor. They destroy life without really taking in consideration of nothing. They don't
yeah,
have respect for nobody.
yeah. What a lot of people don't understand is when that blade hits your skin, and they're doing magical symbols on you. And that person uh, does not know about this tradition. It could ruin your spirituality.
That's right. Let me explain something, if you allow me, please.
Okay, take the floor.
We talk about the engayo, right?
Yeah,
We talk the engayo is a sharing moment between an inserted spirit that is not the Mfumbe. No, the Mfumbe is the one that the person made the pact with that person in the Nganga to be one of the members. But the Tata that called the Engayo. Now, when that Engayo goes after the year, the person needs to go 1 year and 21 days after you get a scratch. Why? Because it's very simple. Remember I told you about that magical circle? If the soul have to go around through a whole circle of life,
yeah,
through the whole year, through the through
yes,
the whole four through the whole 4 seasons, through connected with the 4 element: fire, air, water, earth. That soul that is inserted in you under your skin needs to go to those different 4 stages in order to grow in the Nganga to be called later on an Ngando. Once you get that, you become, like I said, a Pinot Nuevo, new pine tree. Then you move on and you become a Huatoco. But what I want to share now is something more funny, more interesting. Keep
okay,
this in mind. Keep this in mind. You already
okay.
have an spirit under your skin that is called engayo.
Yeah,
When you get a scratch, your second scratch, well, your second scratching ceremony, they said that you are reborn twice in the Nganga. The first was as an Engayo, now you become a Tata. When they start doing the marking as a Tata in your body, who do you think they are doing those markings on? Do you really think it's for that person?
no, it's supposed to be for the spirit that lives within you.
So who then is the Tata?
The spirit.
Now you see why an engayo, I hear engayo that they want to work with firmas, engayo that they give him even a rock that they can. A rock is just a symbolical meaning of the transformation of an spirit that have to go to all different four stages that I told you already in order to go to that process to become a rock or a stone.
Yes.
So that's why an engayo cannot. I see tatas that when they scratch the engayo, they start giving a notebook with firmas, with patipemba, and you can do this, and you don't have the authority to do nothing because you are not a tata and kisi. And who
Yeah.
is really writing down those firmas? The spirit that once was inserted in your body, that is part of you, yes, but it's not you, but it's you. But at the end, when it gets a scratch in your body, yeah, your skin get cut, but it's an opening for that spirit to receive the second magical ingredients that are going to be the food for that spirit that live under your skin.
Okay.
I don't want to confuse. I don't want to confuse anybody, but that's
Yeah.
the reality.
There's gonna be a lot of people texting me back, and I already know it. What does he mean by that?
Well, it's very simple. When you get a scratch, as an engayo, yes, it's gonna be a rite that is done like giving you a welcoming into that spirit, to that magical cauldron. But what they do when they cut you, they're gonna put some ingredients. Those are the ingredients that are gonna be the power that are gonna be representing the spirit that that tata is inserting on you. That's what we call engayo.
Exactly.
It's not the spirit of the Mfumbe. No, you're making the pact. How the hell they're gonna put the spirit of the Mfumbe in there when you're making the pact with them? You don't have the strength to hold on the power of that Mfumbe. So he's
Exactly.
giving you a spiritual entry that is called an engayo, and you become part of the engayo. You two become one because the engayo is gonna live under your skin. But after
Exactly.
that, when you get a scratch as a tata, they need to open you up back again. Why? Because they're gonna need to put more bilongo, more medicine, more energy, and that is gonna empower the spirit that already live inside of your body.
Yeah, you fit in there more. The food, um, which a
Oh,
lot
I
of
don't
people
want to
don't.
know. I don't want to know anything about Carlos. I don't know Carlos. Tomorrow, when people start saying, "Oh, they say that they putting food under your skin," I never heard that. That's a blasphemy.
Yeah, the a lot of people call it the empolo, the magical empolo.
And polo,
Yeah,
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 magical polos,
yeah,
the powders.
yeah. Well, Tata, I'm getting a message that the video is gonna be finishing because Facebook only gives you like an hour. I think we have to do a part two of this interview.
Well, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your beautiful people.
Yeah.
A lot of gratitude to them, to you. Thank you to my people also. I hope that this little seed that I have shared with you today, it will help you to get a better understanding about Palo and all the bad misconception that they are putting this day to a lot of people. Thank you for the opportunity. God bless you all.
Now, Tata, before we go, they also asked me if you had a page on this, but in English. Do you have a page in English?
Well, in Facebook, I got my page, Ifra Medina. But if
Okay.
you go inside on the different, I got sub pages,
Sub pages.
and
Okay.
that I got, and in one of those sub pages, my Spanish post, what I'm doing, I just translating into English so people can understand or learn more about Malongo. So yes, I do have an English page on my general page that is Efrain Medina, but you have to go through my file and just check on it's called, what is called,
Is it
Malongo.
is it shut your mouth?
Oh, that's another one that that's to criticize all the bad things that it don't know. It's Malongo Universal Cosmic Force. That's what it's called.
Okay. Okay.
but that is in English. But you have to go to my page, Ephraim Medina first, and then look up for Malongo Universal Cosmic Force, and that's you're gonna have all the posts in English.
Okay. Well, I know time is going on, and I know before they shut the video here, I don't know why Facebook only gives you like an hour, but I hope they fix that. But do you mind doing a second part?
Anytime you want.
Okay. So it was a pleasure having you here. I know this interview and a lot of the things we talked is gonna be very confusing, very misunderstanding. But you have any questions, please feel free, to contact him and ask him questions before you go to a ceremony that you're not sure that is gonna be the right ceremony for you. Um, he's given his pages. You see his contact information on this interview that you can just click on his name and I guess friend request him or message him. We're gonna do a second part because we have a lot to cover, a lot of more information to cover, and I want to take advantage that this information is free. He's giving this information free to you all, so you don't have to a lot of tatas out there, padrinos will tell you shut up, don't ask about that, because a lot of them don't understand this because they practice croyo and they
That's
never
right.
got this knowledge, so they won't be able to explain to you this information.
That was a way how to control people in the old days. When you got a question and you came to your grandfather and your godfather and you asking about a question and he didn't have the proper training or the knowledge, he will show you and say, "Shut up! You are disrespectful to the Palo house," and they say threaten you to get you out of the house or give you a punishment. And that's a way to control people when they knew they couldn't answer the question.
Yeah. So we're gonna make a part two. I'm gonna get together with him. I don't know if you're busy tomorrow. We could make a part two tomorrow,
We
so we
could
can
do
do
it
it back to
tomorrow.
back.
We could do it tomorrow so people they don't lose
Okay.
the hook on this.
Okay. Well, everybody, you have a blessed day. Thank you, Efrain, for sharing your knowledge. If you have
Sure.
any questions, please contact Efrain. Um, or you can ask me and then I'll ask him. I'd rather him give you that knowledge because my knowledge is like everywhere. And I'm more into the croyo practice. I'll say this again. I'm more into the croyo, and I'm now learning more about the true essence of Palo. So it's never too late to learn more. Even if you're Croyo and you practice Croyo, it's never too late to understand where this tradition comes from. Where was the beginning? What is Malongo? Malongo was the beginning and everything. It's never too late, to learn a little bit more. Knowledge is priceless. Is there
The
anything
only
else
thing
you
that I
want to
can
say?
say, thank
Okay.
you, beautiful people, for I feel deep debt and gratitude to give me the time to talk to you. God bless you. And before you take your steps to get initiated, just investigate, study, read, ask questions. Don't try to go directly to a ceremony that then it will be too late. But
Yeah.
God bless you all. And if tomorrow my friend is ready, we're gonna go for a third round.
Yes, we're gonna do it again. Hopefully, we won't have any issues. So everybody, you have a blessed day. Please, please, if you like, I'm gonna make this video public so you guys could share it. I'm gonna share it to different pages, and I'm gonna upload it to YouTube. So whenever you want to go back and see the whole video, if you missed some parts, please, go back to my YouTube channel, and you can see it. Now, I'm also working another interview with Eric Colon again, to also give more information. And I know a lot of people are asking me about this witchy war between Eric Colon and another Tata that, I don't want to bring his name up, but that's something between them. Now, if Eric wants to share that, that's between him, but I don't get involved with those things. So you guys have a blessed day. Gracias, Tata.
Thank you.
Okay.